So our topic is nuclear explosions, and we're going to start with Chernobyl. That was an explosion of nuclear reactors in Chernobyl, Ukraine, in 1986, and it was due to like really badly designed reactors and uninformed personnel, and so they were like very isolated, and so they weren't aware of like regulations and like the way that these reactors worked. So it was due to a steam explosion, and the fires that ensued released 5% of the radioactive contents of the reactor into the atmosphere and downwind from the plant, so like into the town. 28 people died within a few weeks, including a couple employees and like many people that lived around the area. Thyroid cancer was a common result of the explosion due to radiation poisoning, and the explosion happened because of isolation from the Cold War in the 1980s, because they were really cut off from the rest of the world, and so that means that the design was like really unique, and so it's not really something to worry about in nuclear reactors today because they're designed so differently than the reactor that exploded, because it was really cut off from the rest of the world. Just scroll down. Just go to the next one.
Can we pause it?
Don't pause it.
Because the photos of ours is not on here. That's the thing.
Well,
That's okay.
it's still recording.
Yeah.
We can't. So just
Okay, so next is Fukushima, and this was a nuclear, um, like a nuclear disaster that happened after the earthquake and tsunami that happened on March 11th, 2011, that struck Japan, and it was basically just a combination of equipment failures, releases of radioactive materials, and nuclear meltdowns at the Fukushima 1 nuclear power plant in Japan. And it's considered the biggest nuclear disaster since Chernobyl, which happened in 1986. It forced over 150,000 people to flee their homes, and many have not returned to their homes due to like the devastation caused by the radiation, and due to like people not wanting to live in a deserted like ghost town, which would be the case in Chernobyl. um, um, Rice, beef, baby food, fruit, and other food products were contaminated in Japan, which was a huge blow to their economy because they could no longer like rely on their own resources or their own food products. Uh, 30 to 50 kilometers from the accident, cesium 137 levels were high enough to cause um, concern. That's what officials said. And in May 2012, a research group said that at least 900 PBQs were released into the atmosphere, um, and that the Japanese government may have forced officials to lie about the actual severity of radiation levels. Um, and the half life of cesium 137 um, is 30 years, so there's still a ton of radiation um, present in the area, and it's not going to be safe for a long time.
let's just see how to expand it. Or just zoom. Oh shit.
Is it not expanding?
Here, can I try something?
Yeah, yeah.
So then I'll move it.
Yeah.
So next is the 3 Mile Island nuclear accident. So this is what happened. It all began with failure to the secondary non-nuclear section of the plant. The main feed water pumps stopped running because of a mechanical or electrical error, which prevented the steam generators from removing heat. The problem snowballed, and eventually, the pressure in the primary system, the nuclear part, began to increase, leading to the entire system failing. However, the operator was not able to stop the damage from happening because the system projected false readings. A small amount of radiation was released from the plant. The releases were not serious and were not health hazards. This was confirmed by thousands of environmental and other samples and measurements taken during the accident. Large quantities of radioactive activity leaked from the reactor, but most of it was contained within the plant. However, there was enormous damage to the reactor.
So next is, when did the accident occur, where, and if there were any current dangers? So it happened on March 28th, 1979 in the 3 Mile Island near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And there aren't any current dangers because of the accident. Could the accidents been avoided? Possibly, if more precautions would have been taken. Also, if there were more crew members in charge of checking the generators and equipment constantly to make sure everything was running smoothly.